Do you ever suffer from burnout or feel like you're on the edge of burning out? If yes, then I think you're going to really enjoy today's video because today what I'm going to be talking to you about is burnout and 4 methods that I use to prevent myself from burning out. And definitely I am an expert on the skills of burnout. Over my personal history, I have had a lot of experiences of pushing myself kind of beyond that limit as kind of a peak performer, a desiring peak performer, let's say. That way is probably a better way of framing it. And I've gotten myself to burn out to the point where I couldn't even play a simple iPhone game without feeling like I'm pushing on the brink of exhaustion. So I know what it's like to feel burnt out. Of course, there's different degrees of it. There's lighter, degrees of burnout, and there's the point where I just can't even function. I can't think. I just need to lay down. Regardless of the level and the intensity of the burnout that maybe you're used to experiencing in the past, these 4 methods hopefully will help you to reduce the probability of you burning out at all and allow you to optimize your performance so you can still be a high performer, but actually manage your energies and do it in a sustainable way. So if you're interested in managing your vitality and pushing yourself to that optimal peak performance without burning out, then you're in the right place, and enjoy today's video. So the first tip that I'm going to give you is something that I modeled from some of the most productive people that I've ever met in my life. I modeled 3 highly productive people, and all 3 of them had the same exact answer to what do they schedule first in their calendars. And the interesting thing is that they had different words for it, so it wasn't exactly the same framing. But at the end of the day, the essence was very similar, which is that they schedule their breaks first. They schedule their breaks first. And so when you think about your calendar and scheduling your activities in order to achieve your goals or to accomplish your work at the end of the week, at the end of the month, at the end of the year, do you schedule breaks for yourself? And when we're talking about scheduling breaks, we're talking about scheduling breaks, annual breaks. So do you schedule vacations for yourself? I'm notorious for having not taken a vacation for a really long time up until this year, besides work vacations. But do you schedule time off of work, whether or not you travel? Do you schedule breaks throughout the week? So do you have at least 1 day off in your schedule, blocked off, non-negotiable, ideally maybe even 2, depending on your needs? And do you schedule times throughout the day to just not work, to take a break and to manage your energies? So this is something that I have found really helps to minimize the probability that you're going to, that you would even push towards burnout, because it's kind of like pacing yourself. So I have dealt with chronic pain in my life, and what I learned is that when I was feeling good, I would want to keep on working, keep on pushing, just do more. But the next day, I would suffer from the efforts that I had done the previous day. So it's kind of this dynamic where we feel good, we feel in our vitality, so we push harder, not realizing that the sacrifice that we're making or the consequences of that push will actually come later on. And so scheduling time every single day throughout the day, taking a lunch break, making sure you take making sure you're taking care of your needs, so sleeping well, eating properly, exercising daily, all of these things will help to manage your inner vitality, to maximize your peak productivity, and to make sure that you are taking breaks and that you are scheduling them, you're holding the boundaries on that schedule, so that you can actually get that rest that you need without pushing past that boundary. So that's number 1. Tip number 1 is to schedule breaks, annual vacations or time off of work, weekly days off, and also daily throughout the day, taking time for you to relax and to kind of lay off of the gas. Tip number 2 for avoiding burnout is to bring pleasure to the things that you need to do in order to achieve the things that you want. So, in order to achieve the things that we want in our life, there's the thing that you want, that big goal. And then on the way, there's the things you need to do to get the thing that you want. how skilled are you at bringing pleasure and even meta pleasure, so joy, to doing the things that you need to do to accomplish the things that you want? A lot of times there are things that we naturally want to do, but but there's the things that we need to do, and when we can take the pleasure from the inside out, the joy from the inside out, and bring it to our necessity activities in order to achieve our outcomes, it greatly increases the probability that we will not burn out, but actually be more productive, have more joy and more pleasure throughout our day. So not only will you not burn out, but also you'll have a much higher quality of your life, because we all spend a lot of time working, or at least working to get work if you're not working. So bringing pleasure, bringing joy, and this speaks to the power of self-leadership, of emotional state mastery, of meta state mastery, to be more joyful, bring more pleasure to the things you need to do to accomplish what you want. Tip number 3 that I'm going to share with you is flow states. So, quick fun fact about flow states is that flow states last about 45 minutes to about 2 hours before you push past that point that I was talking about earlier on in the video of getting to, burning the candle at both ends, or burning past kind of the red line. You're redlining it, right? So if you go past an hour and a half, 2 hours, you might feel good. You can keep on pushing, and flow states are kind of tricky like that, because when we're in them, when we're feeling that innate pleasure, right? That pleasure that I just spoke about is an innate characteristic of flow states. Well, when you're feeling that pleasure that innately comes out from being in this flow state, and knowing that we're being productive, we're doing the things that are important to us, we don't really want to leave that state. And so it's kind of a tricky business to hold that boundary and to kick yourself out of flow states, maximum 90 minutes, maximum 2 hours, in order to take some time to rest and to kind of recharge your batteries before entering into the next flow state. And so building a regular practice of getting yourself into the zone, and then even more importantly for avoiding burnout, is to get yourself out of that zone. Again, in a 90-minute to 2-hour time span, to take at least a 5-minute, maybe a 10-minute break to recharge your batteries, to revitalize, and to do some more diffused thinking. So take a little bit of an exercise break, just kind of take a moment of meditation or relaxation, which again are really important for increasing our vitality throughout the day, which leads to my last tip here for avoiding burnout, which is to check your energy level frequently, to check in with yourself. And using timers or alarms is a really great way to set that timer for 90 minutes or 1 hour or maximum 2 hours. I think that 60 to 90 minutes is a good sweet spot. To set an alarm or a timer for 60, 90 minutes and say, okay, I'm gonna focus on this for 90 minutes, for 60 minutes, and in that time period, I am going to only focus on this. And the better you get at cultivating flow states in yourself, which you can do with the tools and skills of neurolinguistic programming and neurosemantics, especially with the guidance of a trainer or a coach who is specialized in doing that, such as myself or any of the neurosemantic trainers and coaches throughout the world, that you become much more able to manage your energies to get out, get in, and to just be aware of what energy level am I at now. Did I push past that 90-minute? Let me get out of here, using timers and alarms as a tool so that you could check in your energy level throughout the day. I like to do a quick check-in every 15 minutes throughout the workday. I just set a little timer on my watch or on your phone. Every 15 minutes, I just hit snooze, and every 15 minutes where that comes up, I just run a systems check. I go, what's my energy level right now? Should I keep on pushing, or do I feel good enough to take a break? So those are my 4 tips to help you to avoid burnout and actually to reach that optimal peak productivity. One of the interesting things about burnout is that the reason why a lot of us get ourselves to a point of burnout is because we want to perform at our peak, and so we keep on pushing. And the paradox is that when you keep on pushing, then you need to kind of take that break away, not by choice, but because your body just can't handle it anymore. And you need to just take that break. But when we learn how to manage our vitality effectively, in a sustainable way, then we can really find that ecological optimal line of peak productivity where we find that sustainable level of productivity. And that's what it's all about. It's about being productive, which means creating that valuable product or whatever that is for you, while being sustainable throughout the process. And that's what will give you that longevity over time and allow you to accomplish the things that you want to accomplish with more joy, more pleasure, more energy, and in a sustainable fashion. So I hope you found this video valuable. Let me just recap the tips for you really quickly. So tip number 1 is to schedule breaks in your calendar frequently. Tip number 2 is bring pleasure or joy to the things that you need to do to achieve what you want so that you can actually enjoy the process more, which is really important. Tip number 3 is access flow states and cultivate the power of accessing flow states in yourself. Maximum 90 minutes or 2 hours, aiming for that 60 to 90 minute sweet spot. And last but not least, check in throughout the day on your energy levels using timers and alarms to let you know when you've been in a flow state for 60, 90 minutes and when it's time to get out, and maybe running a 15-minute kind of running systems check alert system so that you can know, hey, how am I feeling right now? Should I keep going or is it time to take a break? If you don't know me yet, my name is Jason Schneider. I'm founder of the Perception Academy, and I work with coaches, leaders, and personal developers to unleash the highest and best of human potential using cutting-edge psychological models such as neurolinguistic programming, neurosemantics, coaching skills, and self-actualization psychology. And I'm wondering for you, number 1, which of these tips was most impactful for you, and/or do you have any tips that I didn't mention here for helping you to prevent burnout and to maximize that optimal sustainable productivity? If yes, feel free to share them. I love to learn from other people, and everybody has their own genius, their own wisdom, and so please feel free to share it with us so that we can borrow that from you as well. Wishing you more higher level of productivity as you move out through your day, throughout your week. Remember to take breaks, and looking forward to seeing you in the comments section as well as hopefully in a future course. Take care.